So, like, when I bought my ticket, they just gave me a free poster, the cashier did. It wasn't like a special ticket or anything, I was just watching in normal 2D, but yeah. Pretty awesome, right? Godzilla, or Gojira, as apparently the Japanese pronounce it, or 2014 Godzilla, or Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, depending how you want to talk about this movie, if you want to differentiate it from the others. Right now, I suppose you can just call it the new Godzilla movie. So I saw Godzilla last night, and I am not, let me just say this straight up, I am not a major monster movie fan. Now, nothing I have against monster movies, I just never got into them. So no, I'm not going to be making comparisons to other monster movies like, I don't know, the original Godzillas, because I've never seen those, the 1998 Roland Emmerich film. I've only seen the CinemaSins and Screen Junkies videos about it, so that's all I know about Roland Emmerich's film. Apparently, it was terrible. So I am watching Godzilla in a theater with a fresh mind on monster movies. That's how I am watching Godzilla. And it was pretty good. I'll be honest, the one thing that attracted me to see this movie was Bryan Cranston's voiceover in the trailer. He just sounded so genuine and terrifying, and not to mention it was Bryan Cranston, and I loved him on Breaking Bad. I should make a video about Breaking Bad. I'll make a note of that. Hold on. Let me just say one thing right now. Bryan Cranston is not in the movie that long. I'm not going to say why. He's just not in the movie as long as you'd want him to be. No, this movie belongs to Aaron Tyler Johnson, Ken Watanabe, and Elizabeth Olsen. This is their movie. Those are the three main characters of this movie. Now, I read reviews of this from other people who went to pre-screenings. One criticism they seem to have is that you don't see the title monster that much, and it's very true. Godzilla, you don't see him throughout most of the movie. It's only like the second half. But trust me, when you see him, you're going to be clapping in the theater because you're finally seeing Godzilla and he means business. There's also a few instances in this movie, and I read this in the reviews. I'll admit I was a little bit disappointed on the inside because I want to see how it went down. But I don't think it really detracted from the picture that much in terms of the effect the movie had. What I'm referring to is a few instances where it looks like a big monster throwdown is about to happen, and the shot, like, jump cuts to two of the human characters or whatever, watching the events play out on their TV screen, talking about how they need to get to safety, or talking about their military plans, or whatever. This is a very people-focused film. It is more disaster movie, I think, in my opinion, than monster movie, because it's very much from the people's perspective. They're watching all of this take place, and one thing I really love about it is that not only does it have a dark tone, like a dark, realistic, gritty tone to the whole thing, it just feels that way, but it stays true to that. When the first event of destruction happens from a monster, and you see the aftermath of that, there are bodies. There are dead bodies. The movie makes it clear that, oh, when this kind of destruction happens, people die. That is something a lot of city destruction movies these days seem to miss. And it's something that always pissed me off, because I always think about 9/11 and how only two towers and a piece of the Pentagon that later got repaired or whatever, but two towers got hit. Almost 3,000 people died. But it was that, if that event shook an entire nation because of just the pure fatality of it all and the destruction and all of that, if that stopped a nation, just imagine how much a city destruction could have on the world. And I feel like this movie did that effect very well. Not only showing that, yes, people die from this kind of destruction, but that the entire world is going to be captivated by this, and they're going to be scared because, heck, there's gigantic monsters running around, well, more like walking around. They don't run. They're just around, and just because they're so big, stuff is getting knocked down, stuff is getting crushed, stuff is falling apart. it has that effect that Michael Bay will never be able to do with his Transformer movies or Star Trek Into Darkness, butchered with, oh, let's just have a spaceship crash into the city because it'll be a cool shot. And then just have everything be fine at the end. This movie did right what Man of Steel couldn't do right. In Man of Steel, it had that dark, gritty tone, so you got the sense of mortality and all of the destruction that occurred. And then it just betrays that tone by having Superman and Zod go for a few punches and slamming each other into buildings just for the sake of, oh, cool special effects here, oh, let's just show them punching because people like that kind of action, right? And then the ending betrays it all by showing, oh, everything is fine, even though we pretty much just wasted the city. Sorry if you haven't seen Man of Steel, that's what happens in Man of Steel, and I found that ending ultimately disappointing. This movie, I felt the destruction was completely justified. The destruction was treated with credence, the characters reacted appropriately, and it got to the point where I was actually kind of fearing for some of the characters' lives, because I was thinking, oh no, they could actually die. This is a movie that shows they could actually die. So, I love the tone that Godzilla give. I mean, seriously, just show some dead bodies. Maybe a couple of blood on their face. You don't have to show anything gruesome. Just show that people die when this kind of stuff happens. To me, I find that actually respectful to society. That being said, once the monsters throw down, they're not throwing down the entire movie. No. You gotta be patient. You gotta be patient, and I say that as a good thing, because this is a movie that wants you to be patient. And don't worry, the scenes that lead up to that aren't filler. They're very much kind of suspenseful, you're very much worried, on the edge of your seat type of thing, and the score from Alexander Desplat definitely helps. It's very orchestral, monster movie, and suspense. Oh, that was a great score. And the payoff in the third act of the movie is worth it. It was just, whoa! I mean, those monsters are huge. And they're throwing it down in San Francisco like, oh my gosh. It's just a great movie. I can't say for sure if it's faithful to the Japanese movie or not, but something tells me with the way this movie was set up, because everything does start out in Japan, and then it eventually makes it to the West Coast, so Japan is connected to all this, and I felt like that should have been a sign that this is being respectful to its source material. I can't say for sure, because I haven't seen the original 1954 movie. Let me make a note of that too. What do I think of Godzilla? Godzilla is certainly worth it. Go see it in the theater. You won't be sorry. You'll be having fun. And if you don't like that there were not more monster fights, well, I'll just have to say that you need to work on your attention span, because I felt like the payoff was great. I felt like I enjoyed a great movie. As for the ending, I will say this, that the ending is technically sequel friendly, and I'm sure some executive at Warner Brothers is looking into that, but I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm just saying, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the movie, and the movie ends in a way that the movie could just stand on its own and be a self-contained movie. I almost don't want a sequel to happen. I just want to be its own movie. Leave the sequels for Star Wars and superheroes. And when you see it, you'll see why. But other than that, go see Godzilla. That is the movie right now to watch in May. Well, at least until the new X-Men movie comes out, and then we'll see what is the best in May. And that is my first review for a movie that came out in theaters quite recently. I usually do old movies on this channel, but now I'm doing movies in the theaters, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.